Hello there everyone and welcome back to the GSL-English Podcast. My name is Gideon and this is a podcast here to help you speak more natural, fluent and confident English. And I'd like to start off this episode by asking you a question. And I want you to answer this question honestly. Are you motivated to learn English? Are you currently, right now, feeling motivated to learn English? Is there a fire within you that just says every day you have to learn, you have to improve your English? Perhaps you answered that question, yes. Yes, I do feel that fire. Yes, I am motivated to learn English. And if you did say that, fantastic. This episode will help you to keep feeling that way. But perhaps you said, no, I don't feel motivated. I'm actually struggling at the moment to feel motivation to learn English. Maybe when you first started and you saw big improvements, you felt motivated to keep going. But now, as you've improved and you've got more advanced, you're just going through a process. You are not motivated to learn English. Well, if you do feel that way, this episode is going to help. In fact, hopefully, this episode is going to change that because we are going to look at exactly how we can feel motivated in a lot of different areas, but particularly learning English. And we're going to conclude with a true story that highlights the power of motivation. So this is hopefully an encouraging episode that can help us keep or take on a positive attitude when it comes to learning English. So we're going to get started in a moment, but as you know, if you are a returning viewer or listener, I'm going to ask you, if you can, get comfortable, get relaxed, grab a cup of tea, grab a blanket if you're here in England because it's starting to get a little bit cooler. The weather is starting to chill a little bit. So grab a blanket, make sure you're comfortable and enjoy this with me. Just enjoy immersing yourself in the English language for however long this episode is. And if you are new here, if you have stumbled across this podcast for whatever reason, firstly, thank you for clicking on it. I do appreciate it, but please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for English content every week to help you improve your English in a real and authentic way. Okay, so click that subscribe button. But let's get into it today. Why is motivation so important? Why can't we just go through a static process with no emotion and no feeling? Well, motivation is essential for achieving any goal in life. That is, whether it's a long-term goal, a short-term goal, whether you're trying to develop a new skill, whatever it is, motivation is the fuel that drives us forward. Motivation is what keeps us going, is what pushes us through the difficult times, particularly when it comes to learning English. The reality is, if we are not motivated, our progress will be nowhere near as fast and effective as it would be if we are motivated. Motivation is the fuel that really speeds up the whole process. But it's not easy. Maintaining motivation can be extremely challenging, particularly when it comes to the English language. Perhaps we started off and we progressed really quickly and it was amazing. But then that progress just starts to get a bit slower as we get more advanced, and that can affect our motivation. Or perhaps we've had some setbacks, embarrassments, or mistakes when it comes to the English language, and it knocked our confidence, and in turn, we lack motivation. Well, whatever it is, we're going to change that. Okay, we are going to look, firstly, as I said earlier, at ways we can stay or get motivated. And then we are going to read a brilliant story together. Okay, so let's firstly look into some ways that we can stay motivated. And the first way that we can do that is to set clear goals. Okay, the foundation of motivation lies in having clear, well-defined goals. And when we talk about the foundation of something, it's the starting point, it's the base. And in this context, it's where our motivation comes from. For example, if we're going to build a house, we have to have a good foundation. We have to start at the beginning with a solid, concrete foundation. Otherwise, everything else will be effective. Well, motivation is that foundation when it comes to learning English. And goals are essential. Goals are part of that motivation. So we can use the SMART criteria. Okay, so we've got a SMART criteria. S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time-bound. So let's take S. Set specific goals. Not general goals, specific goals. Have a conversation in English about this. Learn some new vocabulary based around this topic. Be specific. Secondly, we want them to be measurable. So how well can we know when we have achieved our goal? At what measure are they successful? So if your goal is learning vocabulary, well, at the end of the week, have we learnt 3 words? If that was our goal, are they measurable? Thirdly, they have to be achievable. For example, we wouldn't say, well, I want to be fluent within a month. That will not make us feel motivated. But if we set the goal of feeling more confident or having a conversation in English over the next 2 weeks, that is achievable. We can do it. It has to be relevant. It has to be within the realms of our life, within the context of our life, a goal that is relevant to our life. And it has to be time-bound. You know, set yourself a goal with a time frame. You won't always hit that. But if we have a time frame, we have a particular point to reach to. We want to create goals that are both challenging and achievable. And we can break them into actionable steps. You know, just steps we take to get there, to move towards our goal. But the key to motivation is having something to work towards. Set yourself a real goal. Perhaps that is from this Wednesday when this episode goes out to next Wednesday, you're going to learn 2 words. Okay? 2 words. Simple as that. And you're going to use them. Words that are specific to your life. And then you've set yourself your time frame. So you will do that by next Wednesday. And then you take steps. Okay, so Wednesday, you learn a word. Thursday, you try using it. Friday, you learn another word. And then throughout the next few days, you try to use those new words. Set clear goals and stick to them. Using the SMART criteria. Make your goals specific, make them measurable, make them achievable, make them relevant, and make them time-bound. The second point is to develop a routine. Establishing a daily routine creates a structured environment that fosters or promotes productivity. And when we talk about a structured environment, we're talking about a setting or an area that it has a plan. It's got a system and it creates a predictable schedule. And that helps us to maintain productivity. And when we stick to that routine daily, it gives us a sense of achievement and it helps us to feel motivated. And we can apply this to every area of our life. For example, we have a routine with specific times for work, exercise, hobbies, relaxation, studying English. A consistent routine helps to enforce good habits. And that is essential when it comes to motivation. Often when I don't feel motivated, one of the first things I notice is that my routine has gone out the window. My routine has gone to shambles. It's not happening. But if I go back to a routine of waking up at a certain time, following that plan throughout my day and my week, well, my motivation greatly increases because we kind of bring in that first step. We achieve goals. We achieve something every day. And that can apply to your English. Develop an English routine within your life. Perhaps that's listening to a podcast on your way to work. GSL-English Podcast, the best English podcast in the world. There you go. Or perhaps it's reading in your coffee break in English. And you just do that every day. Maybe it's having a conversation with a friend, with AI, with a work colleague every day. And you do that out of routine. But a routine promotes motivation because we achieve something when we go about that routine. Allocate specific times for everything. And when we allocate something, we are assigning a time period to do that thing. Do that with English. And also, work, study, gym, hobbies. Have a routine. And then we have to stay organized. Disorganization, the opposite of being organized, is disorganized. Disorganization can lead to stress and demotivation. When we're not organized, it is so commonly linked to feeling stressed. And our lives are busy. We've got to be organized. So, we can use planners, to-do lists, digital tools to keep track of what we're doing, of deadlines, of our goals. And when we stay organized, we're allowing ourselves to focus on what matters most, to focus on what we need to do. And that reduces the feelings of being overwhelmed. And if we are overwhelmed, everything just gets too much. So stay organized. Perhaps that's by the use of a calendar or by use of just writing lists. There's loads of digital tools out there. I don't use them now. I'm a fan of pen and paper. But as many of you know, I am technologically challenged. But stay organized, particularly when it comes to your English. Know what you are going to study tomorrow. Know that, okay, tomorrow I'm studying vocabulary at this time. Friday, I am going to practice speaking on my own or some shadow reading or listening to a podcast at this time. Be organized with your English. When we just try and throw it in at random points of the day, it's not going to happen. And you get to the end of the day, you're in bed and you think, I didn't do anything with English today, and you feel rubbish about yourself. And then that is just a self-destructive cycle. And that repeats itself. But if we are organized and we stick to it, every day we can accomplish something in English. And again, we're reaching those goals. We have that sense of achievement, that sense of pride about ourselves, and that leads to us feeling motivated. Now, this next point is a really important one, and this is something that I struggle to do with, and I think as humans, we often struggle to do it for ourselves. We can do it for others, absolutely fine. But for ourselves, it's a completely different kettle of fish. And that is to celebrate small wins. Celebrate your little achievements. Recognizing and celebrating things that you are proud of is crucial for maintaining motivation. Treat yourself. If you do well, if you set the goal of learning some new vocabulary and you use it within the next week, give yourself a pat on the back. Acknowledge your progress, even if it's a minor thing to you. I used a new word. That is brilliant. That is an achievement. And celebrating these milestones. A milestone is a significant point of progress or achievement toward a goal. Celebrating them, it boosts your self-confidence. Once again, you achieve something, and it promotes positivity. Celebrate your small wins. If you have a little conversation with someone in English and that's something that you really struggle with, be proud of yourself. Celebrate it. If you take the IELTS exam and perhaps you don't even pass it, celebrate that you tried and you've learned. If you listen to a new podcast, you read a new book, I don't know what it is, whatever it is for you, just celebrate your small wins. We as humans focus so much on negative aspects of ourselves. Well, let's focus on some of the positive things. And just as a note, we can encourage others as well by recognizing their little wins. If they talk to you about something and they're really proud of it, they're proud of themselves, just go with them, hype them up. You know, like we would want to for ourselves. Let's create a community where we encourage each other. So I challenge you now to either email me or let me know in the comments a small win you have achieved with your English. Something that you are proud of, that you have accomplished. And if you leave a comment, leave a reply on somebody else's. Let's see how many we can get in the comments. Celebrate our wins and others, because we boost our sense of positivity about ourselves. And this next one's a really interesting one. Stay inspired. Okay? Find sources of inspiration. And by that we mean, look for material or experiences or things that motivate or uplift you. This can be books, podcasts, videos, anything that inspires you to keep going. Read other people's story of how they have, improved their English. Or perhaps even a motivational story. For example, one that we're going to look at in a moment, which isn't linked to English, but it just shows the power of hard work, the power of motivation and consistency. Find inspiration to keep learning English. But that can be anything. It's very subjective. It's very individual, but find something that reignites that passion and that drive for learning English. Perhaps it's a new teacher that you're going to try. Maybe you thought, I want to try a new teacher of English, and then you found one that just works for you. They inspire you. Absolutely brilliant. Or maybe you're reading a new book and the characters or the theme of that book inspires you. Go with it. You know what I mean? Find something just to reignite your fire for the English language. We want something that resonates with us. And if something resonates, it evokes a feeling of emotion within us personally. Find that for you. Try out new things. And along with that, we want to embrace challenges. Okay, embrace challenges. Challenges are opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. When faced with difficulties, remind yourself that overcoming them can lead to personal development and increased resilience. Resilience, that inner strength. And if we embrace a growth mindset, we can shift our perspective to being more positive and help you stay more motivated. Challenges are opportunities for growth. Challenges are situations that allow us to personally develop. They're not always easy. And let's think of some challenges in English. Perhaps it's attending a lesson. Perhaps it's attending a group class, talking to somebody in English, even if you're living in England and you get nervous, having a conversation with a stranger, writing an email in English, whatever it is, they are challenges. They're scary, but it's an opportunity for growth. Even if we make mistakes or we don't do it perfectly, we have the opportunity to grow. And when we overcome challenges, well, then that is just a game changer when it comes to motivation, because we do that again and again. And then we become this unstoppable force of English. Challenges are good. We don't want English to always be easy. If it is, then we're not improving. It has to be difficult. Got to challenge ourselves, but maintain a positive attitude towards that. But perhaps, we're just not improving. We got to a point where things just aren't getting any better. Well, then we need to reflect and adjust. Every now and then, assess your progress. Have you improved over the last month? Over the last year? Has your English improved in any way, shape or form? Are you using new idioms? Are you using new vocabulary? Has your pronunciation improved? Is your fluency there? If not, be honest with yourself, and then perhaps you just need to adjust what you're doing a little bit. If there's certain methods that just aren't working, adjust them. Adjust your goals and adjust your approaches. Evaluate how far you've come towards your goals. And if you're not as close as you want to be, maybe you need to mix it up a little bit. Maybe that's by reading new books, studying something in a different way, changing up your routine. If you study at night, try studying in the morning. Be honest with yourself. Reflect on whether you have improved and then adjust accordingly. Mix it up. Start to use artificial intelligence if you haven't done so. It's fantastic. ChatGPT is a brilliant way of improving your English. If we're not using it, use it. These tools are very scary. Artificial intelligence is terrifying, but use it before it takes over the world. I'm only joking, but just use it. Give it a try. Or perhaps you haven't read a book in English in years. Give it a try. Reflect and adjust. So there's just some points to share with you regarding how you can stay motivated. But now we're going to read a story. Now, I'm actually just going to read this story to you in its entirety. And it's about the very famous Thomas Edison. Okay, maybe you know a little bit about Thomas Edison. I'm sure most of us do. I just want to read this to you. And as we go through, just think about the power of staying motivated. The story of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was born on February 11th, 1847 in Milan, Ohio. He was the youngest of 7 children in a modest family. From a young age, Edison was curious and showed an interest in science and technology. However, he faced challenges early on in his education. His mother, a former teacher, decided to homeschool him after his formal education ended abruptly due to a teacher who labelled him difficult. This could have discouraged many, but instead it motivated Edison to learn on his own. Edison started selling newspapers on trains at a young age and quickly became interested in the science of sound. He even published a small newspaper, which helped him learn about printing. His curiosity led him to experiment with telegraphs and electrical devices, and he eventually became a telegraph operator. Despite these early successes, he encountered numerous failures along the way. Edison is best known for inventing the practical electric light bulb. However, it wasn't a straightforward journey. After years of experiments and thousands of unsuccessful attempts, Edison famously remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This quote encapsulates his relentless pursuit of success despite repeated failures. In 1879, after extensive experimentation, Edison finally developed a working light bulb that could last for over 1,200 hours. His invention revolutionized the world, making electric light accessible to homes and businesses. But his motivation didn't stop there. He continued to innovate and develop other inventions, such as the phonograph and motion pictures. Edison's story is not just about his inventions. It's about his unwavering motivation and belief in himself. He held over 1,000 patents during his lifetime and became one of the most famous inventors in history. Despite facing numerous setbacks and challenges, Edison's determination and resilience led him to achieve extraordinary success and leave a lasting legacy. Edison's life serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of perseverance and the impact of a positive mindset. He believed that failure is merely a stepping stone to success, can inspire anyone facing difficulties in their own pursuits. His story teaches us that motivation, combined with hard work and resilience, can lead to incredible achievements. What an amazing story. I just wanted to share that with you because I came across it the other day and it's what kind of inspired me to go with this episode of motivation. One of the most famous scientists and inventors of our time, it wasn't easy for him. He had to go through a lot of hurdles, a lot of failures, a lot of hard work, but his motivation led him to do incredible things. Perhaps incredible things that he, his teachers, and his family never thought he could achieve. But I just love that quote. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. What an incredible mindset. Kind of in Thomas Edison's eyes, failure wasn't even a concept. It wasn't even an option. And in my mind, that's how we should feel when it comes to learning English. There really is no failure when it comes to English. When we actually think about that for a moment, there is no failure, is there? There's just perhaps a lack of hard work, a lack of motivation, but there's no failure. There might be a lack of progress. There might be a lack of fluency, but there is absolutely no idea of failure. So when we think about that, that's quite encouraging. Let's stay motivated. If you are currently not motivated to learn English, find out why and change it. Set goals. Develop a routine. Stay organised. Celebrate those small wins. Stay inspired. Embrace challenges. Reflect and adjust. Get that fire burning and do what works for you. There's so much information out there. Basically, what works for you works. If it works for you, it's not wrong. No matter how weird, wonderful, or crazy it is, if it works, keep doing it. And if it's not working, change it. You've got this. Failure really is not an option when it comes to English because it's not a possibility. Hard work is. Motivation is. Perseverance and consistency. So, I hope that episode helped you a little bit. I know it's easy for me to say as a native speaker of English, but we all lack areas, motivation in different areas, don't we? Different things in life, and these principles apply to it all. But yeah, go get it. There you go. It's a bit of an encouraging episode, I hope, today. I hope you did enjoy that. As I say, thank you for joining me. As always, I am absolutely loving doing these podcasts at the moment, and we've grown a little bit recently, particularly on YouTube. So I genuinely appreciate it. And as I say always, the purpose of these podcasts isn't to present the English language to you, present the English language to you in a crisp and perfect way, which my mistake just highlighted. I want to present the English language to you in a real and authentic way to prepare you for the real world. English in the real world. So many people ask me, do you slow down when you're talking on these podcasts? No, I don't. I just speak at my natural pace. And some people ask me, if I can understand you, does that mean my English is this level or that level? I don't know. If you can understand me, you can understand a native speaker speaking at his normal pace. That's a win. That's a motivation. If you didn't understand all of this episode, but you got certain words and certain points, that's a win. Celebrate it. But there you go. Thank you so much for joining me again. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you all on Sunday. Have a good one, guys.